we're back for the Svadhisthana, the sacral chakra. So let's talk about it. The Svadhisthana chakra is all about pleasure, emotions, and flow. The basics. So Svadhisthana is located in your lower belly, your womb area. It governs pleasure, emotions, sexuality, creativity, intimacy, body parts that it governs: womb, genitals, kidneys, hips, that whole area, you know. Element is water. How do you know your sacral chakra is blocked? So the main block of the sacral is shame. So when we talked about the Muladhara being fear and guilt, it's this feeling that I did something wrong, I'm going to get in trouble, I did something wrong. With the sacral, it's more like I'm wrong. I don't deserve to exist. There's something wrong with me. I shouldn't be here. So shame, in other words, saying like I'm unwanted, undesirable, I don't deserve to exist. Like, why am I here? So how do you know it's blocked? You're able to get your needs met, but never more. So the sacral chakra being the one that governs pleasure. So in order to experience pleasure and fulfill your desires, you need to be able to get more than just your needs met. Having more and knowing that the universe is unlimited and abundant, you can create any type of wealth or any type of abundance. But if your sacral chakra is blocked, you're never able to get more than enough feeling. Also, another symptom of your sacral chakra being blocked is numbing addictions. So substances, codependency, hypersexuality, hyposexuality, bulimia, things like that. The inability to receive pleasure. So the teacher that I learned from, she calls it a numb pussy. So like just dissociating during sex and not really being able to fully connect emotionally with a partner. You can also experience creative blocks, so not being able to fully feel. Okay, don't get your clothes wet though. Okay. Yeah, creative blocks. So not really being able to feel and be fully in the flow of creativity, or like, I mean, you know what that feels like when you're not fully. You have ideas in your head of something creative that you would want to do, but you're not able to fully express it in the world or get it rooted and grounded in reality. And then emotionally just being blocked, emotional unavailability, overwhelmed, being hypersensitive, emotionally, inability to express yourself or your emotions. Yeah. So where can this trauma come from? That feeling of pleasure being unsafe. So as a child, we were taught that pleasure is bad, definitely in our Western culture, this like religious undertones and conditioning in literally everything, being taught that pleasure is bad or being selfish is bad, translating that to I am bad, or having my desires and wants met are bad, or like just not going to happen. So you end up being like not really ever fully able to fulfill that or experience joy and pleasure in its full expression in our bodies here in this 3D reality. So yeah, I can become somebody that struggles with joy and intimacy, sexuality, sensuality, creativity. Oh yeah, and then sexual trauma. So the teacher that I learned from Mami Onami says that if you experience any sexual trauma in your life, like you're gonna have to just work the sacral chakra more. It's just the truth. If you know me or anything about me, that's obviously true for me. The sexual trauma bit of it, and just emotionally, my God, I've struggled so much in relationships, emotionally being able to express myself. And then like the one of the biggest patterns for me is like making it the other person's fault or problem, being like, you know, people aren't mind readers, so it's really up to me to be able to express myself, and it's really up to me to be able to when I do express myself, if I'm not fully received or fully met where I'm at, or like my emotional expression or sexual expression isn't respected or celebrated, like that's up to me to set the boundary and say like, okay, then this isn't for me. And that's something that I have struggled with a lot, is being able to walk away from situations that I knew weren't serving me or weren't going to be able to hold the full weight of my expression, you know, out of like a scarcity mindset of and just clinging to things that I knew weren't working, you know. But that's kind of the basics of the Svadhisthana and the block and how it can present in your life. And the note on sexual trauma, you know, I recorded a couple of stories today, so you'll hear my Svadhisthana story of like what happened when I unblocked. But for me, the root of the problem was feeling unwanted, and then just fully being unable to receive in my adult life, unable to receive pleasure, joy, or really feel like it's possible for me to create the life that I want, and to do that on my own, and to know that I'm responsible for that. Pretty intense, you guys, but like, look at me, like here I am, and I am showing up in the world, and I am creating the life that I want. So like, it's totally possible. I just had to release that unconscious block. Hear the river, let yourself flow. Okay, that's what the Svadhisthana is all about, is like being in flow, being sensual, movement in your body. You're meant to flow like water. You know, we're dynamic beings. We're meant to, it's not like any emotion is negative or bad or wrong.
But almost watching.
So blocking them creates pressure, pain, and stagnation. And for me, like, that was my normal, was being emotionally blocked and being emotionally closed off and being like dissociated from life, like to the point where like feeling any sort of that's why I was like on substances for so long and was like fucked up for so long, is because feeling any sort of emotion, being alone with myself and my emotions, was absolutely unacceptable to me. Like absolutely so uncomfortable. And so now, like, I don't have that anymore. You know, I had the experience of being sober for some time before I found this program and was able to do it, which is great, and just total proof that everything works out exactly in the right time as it's supposed to. But if you don't honor those emotions and you don't express them, it creates this imbalance, and it creates this pressure and pain and stagnation in your life and in your emotional body. And it doesn't go away. The more you run from it, it doesn't go away. Spoiler alert. I am enough. I am desired. So here are some things that we're going to do this week in the Svadhisthana chakra. We're going to connect to the flow of our life and our bodies, and not only physically, but emotionally and creatively. Doing some dancing. Dancing is really good for being in the flow. I'm going to make a shame release process video, twerking, booty shaking. That has been one of my goals this year, is to get really good at twerking. And it's actually so fun and something I do regularly. I try to do it every day. So also pleasure journaling. So fun. Just writing all of the best feeling things that you can think of, writing those down. And then I love writing those down and then like finding them later and reading the back. It's so fun. And then I'll make a womb healing meditation for you guys as well. It's not really gender specific. Men have a womb, even though they don't physically have a womb. It's in your sacral center of your body. And then the affirmation for this week: I honor my emotions and desires. I am worthy of joy. And we're all worthy of joy. And we're all worthy of being celebrated. Like, we have a right to be here. We have a right to exist. We have the right to take up space. What a beautiful thing. And I'm so happy that we're here together, and I love you so much. Thank you.